It happened to Cindy and me. We became that couple. We sat in a restaurant and ate a meal and didn't say a word. Cold shoulder, stone quiet. What's it take to prevent from becoming that couple? You know, when you and I were dating, I still remember Nacogdoches, Texas. Mm-hmm. There was a Bonanza Steakhouse. Anybody knows the Bonanza Steakhouse? And we were sitting in a booth having our $2.99 all-you-can-eat salad bar and steak. And across from us was a couple that, I don't know, they were old, they were 30s maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And they ate without saying a word. And I vividly remember looking at you, because we were just talking over each other, going, we will never be like that couple.
Never, never.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And then it was not even a year later, we sat in that same Bonanza.
After we were married.
And ate a meal and didn't say a word.
Yeah. It happened to us. So what was your dating communication like?
For us, I mean, we dated all through college, you know, and I think at that age you're really excited and you're infatuated, and so I know for us, we really wanted to like get to know each other and like learn those things that made us unique to each other, and so I think our communications at first were really, really intentional, really intense. Sort of marked by milestones, you know, those type of communications where we would go tell our friends, like, yeah, I learned this about her tonight, or, yeah, I finally told somebody about this, you know.
We finally talked about this big deal,
Sure.
How many kids we want, or these ideas we have for our future, you know, milestones.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, a lot of it, too, was just that polished version that we presented of ourselves, too. So all of our, for the first while, a lot of our communications felt really faultless in a way, because we were wanting to I wanted to convince her that I was a good match. I wanted to convince her not to leave me. I was afraid of being alone. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think we presented those versions of ourselves that would incite wonder in the other. So
I think for us it was, you know, really easy as well, and I think it just stems from in the beginning. You just want to know everything that you can about the other person, and you're really intentional, and you don't have too many really big hard things to talk through, or big decisions that you have to make, and it's a pretty carefree time, and so it's just bliss, and you just getting to know each other and finding out the best things about each other, and haven't been mixed up right next to that person for 24 or 48 hours at a time, where you start to kind of rub off on each other and sharpen each other and have tough things to talk about.
So after y'all were married, how did your communication change?
I think we realized that communicating even just the little things, you're accountable to each other. You have a life together. You have a home together. I remember we had probably been home from our honeymoon for, gosh, what, a week?
A week, yeah.
And I'm on my way home, and this is in my time of, I'm going to make dinner every night, and I'm going to keep the house pristine. Not only am I a new wife, I'm a new Southern wife. So there's all that in my head, And so I'm on my way home from work, just excited. I'm going to make this tonight. I don't remember what it was. And I got a text from him while I was driving that said, going out for dinner with some friends. See you later. Ooh. And I thought, whoa, that wasn't discussed, And so I think we had to have, we had to have one of those conversations where I said, hey, you have to tell me that stuff ahead of time. We have to decide those things together. We're a family now. I know it's just two of us, but we have dinner together. We go out together, or, let's talk about that. Let's tell each other those things ahead of time and check with me. And I think that's a big thing, is instead of telling the other person, this is what I want or this is what I'm going to do, talk about it, have a conversation about it.
Sure.
Yeah, our first year of marriage was definitely like you guys. It was very tough. I think a lot of that had to do with getting married later in life, and just kind of like, we were both very independent and very, confident in who we were, and now it was figuring out us together. And so I'll never forget what Michael told us one Sunday in the midst of just being in a really rough place about putting the conflict between you and not for it not to be Steve. I'm not attacking Steve. We're attacking this together. And we have used that ever since then of just, sometimes having to stop and be like, okay, are we attacking each other? Or are we attacking the situation? And that really helps in our communication, just to be able to be like, okay, let's focus our energy together and do this rather than attacking the other person. And so that's a big communication thing, because you can't, when you're dating, you're agreeable, and then you both go your separate ways. And when you're married, they don't go away.
No separate ways.
One thing that I've had to learn in our marriage is that if I have a conflict with Michael or something that's bothering me, I have to choose the appropriate time. I have to choose the topic. What am I going to actually want to talk about? Because I don't know if you're like me, ladies, but I can get on one subject and it goes to another and another and another, especially if I have something pent up. And so I have to choose my topic, and then I have to choose a right tone of voice, because it's so easy to come in sharp or nagging or critical, and as soon as I have that tone of voice, I know I've already lost being heard. So it's really important for me that I do those, the time, topic, and tone of voice.
And I think you're a lot better at that than I am. But too often in our marriage, it's been my issue and my problem, and I'm like, that was a long time ago. Who thought about that? And Cindy will come back, and she'll actually apologize for something that wasn't even her doing. And I'll go, whoa, mea culpa. That's me that needs to be leading this apology. And it's just, she's smarter and more shrewd than me. She knows that we can't go on with this unresolved. But I think, and Steve and Amanda, you alluded to it, this is something that we've used countless times in our marriage, is you don't hold the problem between the two of you. This is the problem over here, whether it's the expectation, the communication, for us children has been probably our largest set of conflict and communication issues, how you raise and parent kids. And it's not like, this isn't between you and me. This is the problem. This is the issue, and how do we work together to communicate to resolve that? And it is an ongoing process. And lastly, one thing that you're always good at is believing the best.
Yeah, that's again something. When we were first married, within our first year or so, I had an office mate who was, I thought she was ancient at the time. She was probably, she was probably about my age now, in her mid-50s.
Young.
And yeah, very young, extremely young. But boy, I thought she was ancient. But she, I remember one time, I would often come in and be upset about something Michael had done or said, and she said, Cindy, you have to quit taking him so seriously. And her point was, believe the best, hope the best, give him the benefit of the doubt that when he was saying something and it was sarcastic, he was just being funny. Or when it was, so I had to learn and just to go, you know what, I know my husband's heart, and I know that he did not intend hurt in that statement. And so that helps a lot. In that, I can then go back and go, honey, I know you didn't intend to hurt me, but you need to know that really did hurt. Or when you didn't come home for dinner, it really hurt. I mean, I had planned and prepared, and I know you didn't intend that. I know that was never your thought that, boy, I'm going to hurt her. But it did. And if I come in, if I attack the problem out here that way, it's so much easier to resolve because he hears it. Because I'm not attacking him. You hurt me, you blah, blah, blah. It's easier, and then we deal with it, and we make a decision.
And it often comes back to that someone said earlier, is that I still can't read your mind. After all these years, I still can't read your mind when it comes to communication. And unless we're open and transparent and honest, you don't fight every battle. You do have to pick certain ones. Some you just have to say, it's not that big a deal. And you can't stew and fester about it. But at some point, if we can't talk about it and discuss it and hold it over here and address it, we're not growing together in oneness, and we're getting on that parallel track in our communication styles.